Thank you.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for coming out and sharing this evening with us. This is our first annual mixer for the candidates. So my name's Janine Ackles, and I am the founder of the Cumberland County Community Watch Coalition, where we're not only doing community watches, but we watch over each community collectively. So one of the things we do is we want to make sure that everybody knows who they're voting for, what their stance is, because that's very important for everyone here. Because it's kind of tough when you're just voting for people because I like her or I like him. No, we want to be informed because these next couple of years coming up are going to be very different for us if we don't choose the right people. We have our vote no, we have our vote yes, then we have our Senate races going on. These are big races because they can change the trajectory of our very lives, whether it's pro-life or whether it is pro-choice. So we need to make sure we are voting our own conscience. So with that being said, I'm really excited for you guys to be here. The Cumberland County Community Watch Coalition meets every fourth Thursday of the month, and we do different topics just to make sure that everyone's being informed. It's not necessarily political things, but this is a political time, so we want to make sure we have everybody informed. Our next meeting is going to be next Thursday, a week from this Thursday, and we're going to be working on housing. We're going to have people from the housing agency up in Raleigh. We're going to have Mr. Jonathan Strange, who's going to also be out talking about eviction and tenant-landlord rights. We're going to have some representatives in. We'll have a realtor in who will talk to folks on how to come out and buy housing, and also a loan officer to show you what we can do. And we also want to talk with a lot of our folks in the area whose rents have been raised so high and what their next move is. We are 20,000 units short in Cumberland County, yet the rent is still going up for folks. So we just need to make sure that we are on top of all of those things and making sure you are electing the people that are right for these positions. So I'm excited that you guys are here. We are going to be doing it in a format where we're going to be here in person, and then we're going to be on Zoom as well. So you'll get to meet them. And as far as asking questions, at this point, we're going to start out with 2 questions per candidate. And we are going to pick from the Zoom audience, and then we'll pick from our live audience here. So this is a little bit different, I'm sure, than what we're used to, but I'm excited that we're the first ones to get to do it. So, so you'll meet us there. But in the future, I want everybody to just remember who we are, because we're going to be out and about in these neighborhoods and the communities. We want Cumberland County to be a better place to live, not just the city, but the whole county. So just make sure that if there's issues or things like that, you can bring them to us. We're going to look into it. We are a nonpartisan organization, so we don't, we're not here to say who to vote for, just so everybody knows. And I am really totally excited as I look across the room here to see that we are so mixed up here. I see Republicans, I see Democrats, I see Libertarians, see? Independents. So we've got them all here. So this is your time to be informed. Listen to what people have to say and see what's the greatest part of it. But at this point, is Mr. Anderson up?
Yeah, well, you can. He's gonna have the candidates come up.
Okay.
How y'all doing? I'm Jesse with StraitNoChase
And Mr. Mitchell.
#1 podcast in the state. She was supposed to introduce me, she didn't, but okay. I ain't nobody.
I wasn't sure how we were gonna do this.
But I'm here. The
Yes.
integrator's here. I need
Thank
the
you.
soil and the Board of Education candidates to come up here and get your seats, please. thing going.
And Straight No Chaser is our host for tonight. Just to let you.
Take the ER off, Chase.
I'm
Or,
sorry,
Chase.
Straight No Chase.
Thank you.
That's the name he goes by. But it's Mr. Mitchell to us today. Okay.
Y'all can subscribe on YouTube. I'm on King Network TV. If you got a Roku, Fire Stick, you got Google, I'm on it. You got it, I'm on it. But ready to get started? Everybody just feels so lovely. Everybody's so lovely. Get yourselves around the applause. It's so lovely. It's so lovely. Got Candy, y'all ready? Y'all set? Okay. Scared? What we doing?
All right.
Talk to me.
We can,
The Zoom ready?
the Zoom is ready.
Okay. Getting the Zoom together now, people. Ready? Just one second. Everybody will get in from the Zoom. They coming on in now.
Hello everyone, this is John White.
Yeah. Make sure you introduce him.
I want to introduce Mr. Rodney Anderson, the guy at the top.
Yes. Is someone on the phone?
Yeah, he's gonna do that. They haven't started yet.
Oh, they haven't started.
No, let's go ahead and begin, and please allow those who come on to enter along the way. Good evening. My name is Rodney Anderson, and I have
Getting the
it
line
is
on?
my pleasure to participate in this forum where we have a number of candidates who have agreed to introduce themselves and
Getting the line on that here?
in this session to share
I
with
know,
you
I'm sorry.
a little bit about themselves and what their views are regarding positions that they seek for the upcoming election. To begin with, I would like, I will mute you all so that we can reduce the amount of static. And so the format that we will follow is that I will begin at the top of the ticket
That's
and
usually it.
correction at the top of the ballot.
There we go.
And I will invite those who are candidates in the various offices to introduce themselves. And in so doing, please take 2 to 3 minutes to give your name, the position that you seek, and tell us a little bit about yourself and anything else you want to share. And please keep that to no more than 3 minutes. And after everyone has had an opportunity to introduce themselves, then we'll have some questions. And because of the number of candidates, we won't invite every candidate to answer every question, but we certainly will tailor the questions to the various members of various candidates.
I'm trying to. It's not
So with that, I'd like to start by just thanking the sponsors for this event. That would be First Baptist Church, the Reverend Dr. Frederick Cumberland, who is the pastor, and Ms. Doris Stansel, who is the organizer for this event. Thanks to First Baptist Church. I would also like to thank Cumberland County Community Watch Coalition, who has an in-person event, and their candidates will be joining us as well.
So I'd like to thank them and Kerry Johnson and the Cumberland County Community Watch Coalition. And so a huge thanks to both our sponsors and a thanks to, first of all, to all the candidates. It is significant that you have agreed to volunteer your time and talents to run for election and then to serve us, your community, after the election. So thank you and congratulations to you for taking that step. And then to all of you who are observing this event, thank you very much for your participation and the opportunity to listen to our candidates and to better understand their positions and who they are, such that you will be informed about them for the upcoming election. And so with that, I will pause in the event that our sponsors, as a matter of fact, I will pause and allow our sponsors to make a brief comment. And so we will begin with First Baptist Church in Stansel, or anyone from First Baptist Church that wishes to just make a comment before we get started.
Good evening, Anderson, to all the candidates. Thank you for your time coming out to share with us your vision and who you are, so that we may be better informed about our duty concerning voting. So thank you to all of you that see that come and watch this like they're linked as well for the steps.
Thank you, Pastor, and thanks to everyone, and just thank you for all the viewers this evening. Just concerned about and see people are still coming in, and
I can't nothing, she said. Y'all can hear her?
It's kind of, it's not really clear.
Still working with that Windows 95, must be.
Thank you for those who presented themselves to run public office. Thank you for hearts and minds to serve with real God. Things will be done decently, order and serving. This wonderful process that we pray, Heavenly Father, government for all people. Emphasize now that best government that we told for whatever they may do. And keep these your people who pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Cumberland, the Community Watch, Cumberland County Community Watch, would you care to make an opening comment or greetings?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
I think we're gonna have a little bit of an echo. I'm not gonna be able to talk. And
If she muted, she can't hear.
yeah, they can't hear me.
Oh, okay.
Yes, go ahead. The echo is if multiple people have a channel open.
Yes, it needs to be one. We just need that one for
But we have a good.
Please go ahead, make your.
Are you able to hear us now?
Okay.
Joe Anderson?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
All right. The only thing is that inside the venue, it would create an echo because we're using the Bluetooth audio. But we are very grateful to be joining collectively. I know I actually forgot to send the note to you, Mr. Rodney, but Mr. Charles Graham does have a few moments of time. So if we could start with him first when you do get to it. And we do have the Board of Education up and soil and water ready as you start down your candidates.
Okay, very well. Okay, let's begin. And please
take this opportunity, once your position is announced, to give your name, introduce yourself, and
Tell us a little bit about yourself, and please do that in 2 to 3 minutes. And
are there
any candidates for U.S. Senate
that are present?
Any candidates from the U.S. Senate that are present?
Hearing none, are there any candidates for U.S. House of Representatives District 7?
Charles Graham is there, wherever he's at.
Charles Graham.
He's at the top.
Mr. Graham, please proceed.
He's somewhere in the backyard.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. This is State Representative Charles Graham. Doing great.
Want to thank the sponsors for allowing me to come on and be a part of this forum. A little bit about myself. I'm a neighbor in Robinson County. I've served as general senator now. This is my 12th year. And I'm honored to be the candidate of the 2nd Congressional District. I have experience in business owner for 4 years in the city of Lumberton. I'm a retired educator, and I've also served the state for 12 years as general senator. That's the reason I'm running. I want to take my experience to Washington, working on behalf of the folks in Cumberland County. You're going to have a new congressman. I would love to be that congressman. I'd love to take my experience to Washington, working for the community and working for those things that matter, standing up for our public education, standing up for affordable health care, standing up for a clean environment, clean drinking water, standing up for our safety in our public schools with our children, a resource officer in every public school. The federal government has a responsibility to protect our children, and I will do everything I can to do that. I do protect the Second Amendment rights, but I also believe we should have responsible gun ownership, and there's ways we can do that. As a congressman, I will stand up for a responsible gun ownership. Let me just say, in closing, this election is very critical, very important, and I will tell you a critical issue on the ballot is voting rights. I support and will stand up and support John Lewis Voting Rights Act 100%. I will support any policies that we can work with collaboratively to get this inflation under control. It is my intentions to be a good steward, and when I'm elected, I will post a schedule to come back into Cumberland County as a congressman and be a part of the public and do public forums. So thank you again for allowing me to introduce myself. I know I'm doing this rather quickly. I wish I could spend more time on the issues, but it is a pleasure to be the nominee for Cumberland County in the 7th Congressional District. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is Mr. Rouser on? Okay, U.S. House of Representatives, District 9. Anyone from U.S. House of Representatives, District 9? Supreme Court Associate Justice, Seat 3. Supreme Court Associate Justice, Seat 5. North Carolina Supreme Court Justice, Seat 8. North Carolina Court of Appeals, Seat 9. North Carolina Court of Appeals, Seat 10. Court of Appeals, Seat 11. North Carolina Senate, District 19.
Is anybody here?
Colonel Anderson,
Yes, sir.
this is John Tyson, Judge of North Carolina Court of Appeals for Seat 10.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon. Thank you to First Baptist Church for this opportunity. I've visited there many times when Representative C.R. Edwards, Reverend C.R. Edwards, minister. And I'm a native of Cumberland County, running for re-election
to the seat that I currently hold on the Court of Appeals. My wife and I are natives of Cumberland. We raised our family there, we lived there, we've been a part of that community. I was raised in the Grace Creek community. I'm a product of public schools, and I've had the honor of serving Cumberland County in the North Carolina Court of Appeals since I was first elected in 2000. I served on the Soil and Water Board there in Cumberland, elected, and I served on the Joint Planning Board as chairman there for 8 years. So I know Cumberland County is my home, it is the home of my children and my family. The issues of this race is three things. One, we all expect our judges to be fair and impartial. That is the minimum expectation of any judge. But more important is to have a record of experience, education, performance, and transparency. I have ruled on 9,000 appeals and written 3,000 opinions during my 2 terms on the court. I have a 98% affirmed or left undisturbed rate by the Supreme Court. I have taught law school at Campbell for 35 years. I have welcomed numerous interns and externs in my chambers for the last 100 years. So I am up for re-election to my seat, and I would appreciate the support and continued support of the First Baptist community and the folks here in Cumberland County, and I thank you for this opportunity to join you this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Judge Tyson. North Carolina Court of Appeals, seat 11. Are there any judges that at the North Carolina state level that I missed? Okay, North Carolina State Senate District 19. North Carolina State Senate District 21.
What do you want me to, what do I need to do? Does he want me to introduce myself now?
Yeah.
Okay.
North Carolina House of Representatives District 22.
Hold on.
Am I low enough? Yeah.
Hold on, Rodney.
Okay.
General Anderson.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Frank McNeil, Democratic candidate for the North Carolina Senate District 21.
Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you. A lifetime resident of Moore County. This Senate district is all of Moore County and part of Cumberland County, Northern Fayetteville, Spring Lake, Fort Bragg area. My wife Susan and I have been married 41 years. We've raised 3 daughters, and now we have 3 grandsons. I operate a business in Aberdeen where I also served as mayor for 2 terms and also served on the Moore County School Board. I'm running for the state senate this year because too often politicians have forgotten who they're representing. They get to Raleigh and they want to fuss about politics instead of concentrating on the issues that are important to all the folks back home. That includes pushing for good paying jobs. It means fully funding our schools. It means protecting our democracy. It means protecting a woman's right to choose and protecting your right to vote. It means finally funding Medicaid so that everyone has access to affordable health care. This is going to be a close race this year, and it's very important. One of the issues is big corporations versus everyday citizens. The state needs to decide, are we going to give tax breaks to big corporations, or are we going to fully fund our schools? And if good schools are important to you, it makes a difference who wins this race. If good health care is important to you, so it makes a difference who wins this race. If a woman's right to choose is important to you, it makes a difference who wins this race. Again, I'm Frank McNeil, running for the North Carolina Senate District 21. Delighted to be here this evening.
Appreciate you coming on up, brother. Give him a hand, round of applause, people.
Thank you, sir.
Are there any other candidates for Senate District 21?
Any other candidate for District 21, Senate District 21?
North Carolina House of Representatives District 42. North Carolina House of Representatives District 43.
Rodney. We
All
have
right.
both. Diane Wheatley is coming up first.
Okay, where are we standing?
Stand right there. Camera's right here.
Second, great. Good evening. My name is Diane Wheatley.
Close on this,
I'm
Diane.
presently serving as your representative in District 43. I've had the pleasure of serving with a wonderful delegation that worked together to make sure that we brought home the bacon to this community, that we weren't being treated like the redheaded stepchildren of the state of North Carolina, that we were getting our fair share. We worked together and we were able to bring $423 million above the budget to this community to be used for not only quality of life issues, but to fund our schools, to clean up our rivers and streams, and so many numerous things in education. And it was a bipartisan effort and we worked well together. I also in the past let me tell you a little bit about me. I'm married to Al Wheatley. He's been a businessman in this community. He was born and raised here. I got here when I was 13 years old. My daddy was in the military. He was Command Sergeant Major. I went to high school at 71st. I went to nursing school at Fayetteville Community College, and I've attended at Methodist University. The most vital things that I think we need to continue to work on is going to be the economy, because we are definitely seeing inflation, and that concerns all of us, I'm sure, about our families, our retirements, and how we're going to pay for things as everything continues to go up. Crime is a huge issue. I think we're going to have to work together as a community to figure out how we're going to address this and support. Thank you. I could talk forever.
I guess 3 minutes went by fast, huh? Let's give her a applause. Be quick, swift. He's cooking. You see him, right? Your time is over.
She was cut off.
Oh, you're not done. You were
Oh, you
cut
said you got
off.
more time? No, you're not done. You said you got cut off. I was shocked. You said like, I was like, man, you're wrong.
I'm gonna go fast.
He playing with his time, is he?
Yeah, but we need to work on the economy. We need to work on crime,
Community Watch Coalition,
education.
Can you reconnect Diane Wheatley?
Okay, can you hear us now?
We can.
Go ahead.
Okay, let me do it again. I think that there are 4 or 5 really major things we need to be working on in Raleigh and nationally as well. But our economy, to where we attack recession, crime. We also need to continue to work on our education system. I spent 10 years on your Board of Education. I was your chairman when the only schools that have been built in the last 25 years were built. We built those schools on time and under budget, and it was a true pleasure to be able to work with the community on getting our children schools that we desperately needed. So I also served as your county commissioner. We did a lot of wonderful things during that process, and it was always bipartisan, because usually I was the only little Republican there. So it was a pleasure to work for this community, and I want to continue to work to make this a better place for all of us and our children to want to stay here and make their lives essential in Cumberland County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Floyd?
Good evening. I'm Elmer Floyd. I'm a candidate for the North Carolina House of Representatives, District 43. I always say that I'm from the great state of Rocky Mount, North Carolina. I'm a family of 6. My father had a 3rd grade education. My mother had a 8th grade education. My father rode a bike to work 12 miles. My mother worked in tobacco, cotton, cleaned houses in order to provide for her children. I'm a product of Fayetteville State University. I retired from the city with 30+ years of service. I'm also a graduate of the Fayetteville State University, of which I'm very proud of. I served 12 years in the General Assembly. And while serving, I served on 7 committees and 13 non-standing committees. I was able in the last budget there, upon my serving 12 years in the General Assembly, we was able to put in $132 million for Cumberland County. $132 million for Cumberland County.
That's an applause, people.
What I'm concerned about as we go forward, we have to look at the women's reproduction rights, inflation, gun control, our voting rights, and we really will have to look at our courts, whether our courts are making decisions interpreting the law or whether our courts are making decisions interpreting politics. We got to do that. We got to look at providing a sound basic education for all of our children. That's important. But if Cumberland County intends to move from Tier 1 to Tier 2, Tier 3, we got to look at our infrastructure. We do not have the kind of infrastructure that will move our goods and service to the market. Charlotte, Raleigh, Greensboro, we don't have it. We got to do that. We don't have the water to attract. We don't have the capability of our internet, fast internet service. We don't have that. We are lacking that. And what we do is that we hold party lines, and we do not want to work across party lines all the time. But you got to work across party lines in order to bring back something to your community. Politics is one thing, people. Your ability to negotiate, not your ability to stand. If anyone stands for a long period of time, even a tree, when the wind comes, it will pop that limb if it's not willing to bend with the wind. It's critical. We need that in Raleigh. We need someone that will stand up for the people in Raleigh. I'm that person. I'm very proud. And when you look at it, we bought money for Fayetteville State, and the chancellor mentioned the first time in 30+ years, we bought that money to Fayetteville State. My last year there, I introduced a bill to build a new education facility for Fayetteville State. That was a commitment going into the following year, which today, that building is in the budget for $60 million. We got to stop playing politics and bring back the results. If you want a person that's going to deliver the product back to your community, if you want the United States Postal System, if you want FedEx, if you want Amazon, or you want prime time, those companies will bring the product to you. And I want to be your prime time representative. I will open the door, my doors will be open, and make Fayetteville what it needs to be, is the gateway for southeastern part of North Carolina. And I thank you.
Mr. Rodney, before you proceed, we do have a candidate that needs to leave. Julissa Jumper, she's with Board of Education. Is it okay if she introduces herself for a moment before we continue? Okay. Yes, he said sure.
Now, do you want me to stand here or do you?
Yeah, come stand for it. Sorry. Speak from your diaphragm.
Hi, I'm Julissa Jumper. I am running for one of the at-large seats on Cumberland County Board of Education. I grew up in New York City. I have a bachelor's in sociology and a master's in student personnel administration from NYU. My professional work experience in New York included I was the Greek life advisor for Fairleigh Dickinson University. I was a counselor for an underground domestic violence shelter. I served as a caseworker for a foster care caseworker for a New York City agency and as a preventive services caseworker as well. And I was an advisor for the Albert G. Oliver program in New York City, which is a foundation that identifies academically gifted minority students and helps place them in some of the top independent schools in the Northeast. I enlisted in the military in '96 and ended up here at Fort Bragg at the Special Operations Community, deployed to Peru, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Barbados, conducting counter-drug activities in support of U.S. interests, and left the military in 2003, started a real estate career, and got married, met my husband in the Army, and we've made this our home. I've got to run, and I apologize. I did make arrangements with Janine earlier, tell her I had to leave at 7, but I'll tell you some of the things that I'm concerned about in our educational system. I am concerned about teacher issues right now. We have a severe shortage of teachers, and the reasons they're telling me they're leaving is two main issues that keep coming up: pay, their salary, they're woefully underpaid, and the discipline issues in school. They just can't take it. They're being told, pretty much you got to figure it out, you got to handle it, and it's becoming more than they can bear. So I think we need to focus on teacher pay. One of the things I am questioning is how our budget is how our funds are being appropriated. I think that teachers are the frontline workers, and they should, if we have limited resources, the teachers need to get the bulk of salary concerns, not superintendents or his cabinet or those kind of top-heavy administrations positions. And as far as the discipline, I think that we have to involve parents in this problem. We cannot continue to ask teachers to handle it. It's disastrous, and it's getting out of hand. And as we see, we are experiencing a shortage. The other concern I have is we have ESSER funds that still have not been spent, and we need to focus those funds on educational loss. Black and brown students in high poverty schools were more impacted by school closures, and we need to really dig into that. And that's the reason we got those ESSER funds, is to help with this, with the effect of COVID, and I don't see that we're doing that. So if anyone has any questions for me, my website is www.julissajumper.com. Please reach out. I'll give you whatever answers you need. And again, I apologize. I could not stay longer and answer any more questions, but I did have another engagement.
Thank you, Mr. Rodney, for allowing her to speak out of turn.
Great points, great stuff. We need to focus on them.
You did that. Okay, hold on one moment. Hold on one moment, Mr. Rodney. Give us 1 moment, please.
Private home is definitely affected more when they had to stay home. See, they had to give them lunch and everything.
Okay, go ahead.
Roy don't know what's going on. Right. You don't know what's going on. He's trying to read up, so you don't know what's going on. Look at him. He's in the zone. He ain't paying no attention. But they just got finished first. Exactly, right?
Are there any candidates for District 45? No, there's no candidates here.
Judge, District 12C.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We have a, you said Superior Court? Did you say Superior Court?
Yes, Superior Court 12C.
Okay. Superior Court, we have, Mr.
George Robbie Hicks and Mark Sterling are the two.
You're perfect, right there.
Right here, y'all good? I'm just seeing. Hey, I'm Robbie Hicks. I'm gonna be on the ballot. George Robbie Hicks. My daddy was named George. My grandpa's George. I'm George. My son's George. Everybody calls me Robbie though. So look for Robbie Hicks. That's what y'all gotta do. I am a darn near native of Fayetteville. Actually, I'm up from Harnett.
Someone is talking, but we're not getting any audio.
I do it again.
Then they get a little confusing at family events. Yeah,
Too many words there. Come on, George. It's like George Foreman.
Confusing at family events.
George. No. I call him different names.
But everybody named George.
No, but I call him. Recording in progress.
Go ahead.
The audio wasn't said.
No, me too. We good?
Go ahead.
All right. Hello again. I'm Robbie Hicks. I'm running for the 12C Judicial District Superior Court. I'm gonna get 10 minutes.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm running for judge, 12C Judicial District here in Cumberland County. I'll go as quick as I can with this thing on the history. If you want to know more about me, look at my website, voteRobbieHicks.com. But the nutshell is, I'm a 1990 graduate of Campbell Law School. I finished 4th in my class. While I was in law school, I worked for a professor, I interned at the Supreme Court, and after I graduated, I went to work at the North Carolina Court of Appeals for an appellate judge for 2 years, helping them do their jobs and making sure the trial judges had done their jobs. When I graduated, I met my incredible wife in law school. We got married, we came to Fayetteville. She's a military brat, born and raised here, and I'm just up the road in Harnett County anyway, so Fayetteville's great. We moved down in '92 and started up. I went to work with Ronnie Mitchell and in his law firm and did civil work, appellate work, criminal defense, and I loved doing that, but I felt a calling. And in July of 1994, Ed Grannis, God rest his soul, he hired me to come work for him, and I've been there ever since. Over the past 28 plus years, I've been prosecuting cases for you. I've been the head arson prosecutor, the head drug prosecutor, and for the last 10 years, as of last December, I was your top homicide prosecutor. Of all the cases I've ever handled, most of you will remember the Shania Davis case. That was mine. And a whole bunch of others that are just terrible, too terrible to mention. I've done my best as a prosecutor to keep the community safe, and that's what I think I can bring to the bench with me. But not only the type and extent of experience that I have, which covers civil and criminal defense and prosecution, my service to the community has been pretty good, I would say. When we first got here, before we had children, and in that time frame, I did a lot with Habitat for Humanity, Operation Inasmuch. We're great supporters of the Care Clinic and child advocacy, but I'm most proud of my church. I'm a Christian, so I'm very proud of my faith and my service at St. Patrick's Catholic Church. We're Eucharistic ministers there, and my Boy Scout leader days. Both of my sons went from Tiger to Eagle, and now they're serving in the United States military. I was one of their leaders. So community service is out there. I love it. And legal service to the profession, not just the job, but the actual service. I've been on the board of directors for the Fayetteville Area Sentencing Center until money ran out. I was the first prosecutor and still the only prosecutor to ever be on our board as president of the local bar. And since 2017, long before the idea of running for judge, I got appointed to be on the top board of the state of North Carolina, the North Carolina Board of Law Examiners, where we look at everyone who applies to get a law license and we make sure that the public will be protected because they will have had their character and fitness decided that they're good, they're good people, and they can come and have a law license. We also grade the bar exam and do it twice a year, and that's a lot of work. So that's me in a nutshell. I have been fair in my job, I've been consistent, I've been impartial in trying to bring some measure of strong justice to our county. I'll do the same thing as a judge. I'll be tough but fair. I have supported you, I've supported firefighters, law enforcement, first responders, and all victims of crime, while at the same time protecting the rights of criminal defendants, because that is as important as prosecuting them. I'll bring it on the bench, vote Robbie Hicks. George Robbie Hicks. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We do, Mr.